She's a conservative and I'm liberal, and yet we've been friends for almost 40 years. Everyone says you shouldn't discuss politics, religion, or money, and we say that's exactly what friends should be talking about. Join us as we tackle the conversations you're having in your head, but are too scared to say out loud. Hello, Jolene.
Hello, Nicole, and welcome to We've Got to Talk.
Yes. How are you doing?
I am great. Thank
Good.
you.
Good.
Appreciate you all tuning in to We've Got to Talk, another weekly podcast talking about all the important things that we've got to talk about. And please do us a favor, like it, subscribe to it, comment, share it, do all of the things.
Yes, follow, share with your friends.
Shout it from the rooftops.
Shout it. Yes.
It helps us, and it helps get our message out. And
Yep.
if you would like to sponsor We've Got to Talk, then we'd like to talk to you.
That's right. And you would just go to our website, we'vegottotalk.com, go to the contact page, say, hey, I want to sponsor you guys. And we will get right back to you and we will make it happen. Today, we are doing something a little bit differently, but it kind of reminds me of our, when we read the David Brooks article, How America Got Mean. This time, Jolene and I watched the documentary, The Last Republican. It's a film by Steve Pink, and you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Apple. I actually ended up buying it. You can rent it, I think, for $4 or buy it for $8, and I did it on Amazon. What did you do, Jolene?
I rented it from Amazon Prime.
On Amazon. So you're on Amazon. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
We will put that in the show notes so that you can have a chance to take a look at this film and listen to our podcast again after watching the film too. But I think that this conversation, I'm very anxious about it, Jolene, because there's so much that went into why this film was made and why he's no longer a representative of this country. And I found the film incredibly enlightening in a way that I learned a ton. And I'm curious, what was your experience watching the film?
So I used to be a fan of Adam Kinzinger, is the Illinois Congressman that this film is based on. It's a documentary, really, about his experience. And I used to be a fan of Adam Kinzinger just because he was a really noteworthy Republican in terms of just being charismatic and kind of shoots from the hip and isn't, polished and poised, kind of, tells it like it is kind of guy. But then I kind of got to the point where I just felt like Adam Kinzinger loves Adam Kinzinger. And I just felt Was
that before this? Because this was the documentary, for everyone to give context. Sorry to interrupt you, Jolene. But the documentary is truly based on his last 18 months of his term, and it was based around the January 6th experience and the hearings. It wasn't because he was in office for 12 years. So when did you feel like he started to become too?
I mean, it was probably during Trump's first term. You would see him in interviews. Like, he was a person that they would go to for comments on different issues. And he had a really compelling story because he was military. I mean, he has a military background and he's from Illinois, a predominantly Republican state. If you take out Chicago, he was a guy that you went to high school with, that type of charisma. But I'm always leery of someone who is self-promoting. That was really kind of the feeling that I got from when I would watch him. Now hell, Donald Trump is that way. I mean, there's a lot of people who are that way. So I'm not saying that I didn't like him because he was that was his personality, but I'm always cautious of people. What's their ulterior motive? It's like Marjorie Taylor Greene right now. Is she doing all of these things to self-promote, or is she really looking out for the best interest of the country? And I think we both think that she's got an ulterior motive. I would kind of put her in the same category as Adam Kinzinger. I mean, they do a lot of crazy things to get in the limelight, because people in politics who have the limelight get the money, get the special interests to back them, because that's their MO.
Did your experience of Adam Kinzinger change watching the movie? Because I didn't have an experience of Adam Kinzinger. I did not know him until January 6th. I did not know him. I was very familiar with what was going on in the documentary because I watched all the hearings. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that was so shocking to me and so clarifying is in one of our very first podcasts, you and I, where I knew every detail about the January 6th day and about these hearings. I watched every single hearing. And one thing that struck me in the documentary was how they said that Fox didn't air it.
I was not aware of that.
So shocked. And then I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense now. Because if I am seeing all of this information and I'm watching all of this storytelling and I'm having the experience all the country is also seeing everything that I'm seeing. And how can they not? Of course we're all on the same page. Of course this was a horrific day. Of course. And then find out, oh my gosh, Fox didn't air it. And not only did Fox not air it, they would skew the narrative and be like, January 6th, it's about inflation. And that was mind-boggling to me, that was what was going on in this country. Because I'm very aware of that bait and switch mentality now that we've done this podcast, but I really didn't know at all what really goes on. So I had only seen Adam Kinzinger as this person from the appearance that he thought he was doing the right thing and the painful thing. And so watching the documentary of this journey, I really felt for him. I don't have the experience of him being a self-promoter before. And I also think it was very ballsy for him to go with this documentarian he called him communist, but he's a progressive. Yeah. And I thought that was also interesting that that's who he went with, because I think it reminded of us.
I think my first thought is, why did Stephen Pink want to do this story on Adam Kinzinger? Here's Stephen Pink, who is a self-proclaimed liberal, progressive, and they joke about that, at the very beginning and actually at the end too. Why would he want to do a documentary on Adam Kinzinger, other than the fact that Adam Kinzinger is going against, is bucking the system, is going against the Republican Party and is going to get kicked out for it? Obviously, that's always a red flag to me, that if the opposite side is propping this person up, what's in it for them? I love a good conspiracy theory, and so
yes,
I always have to think about the next step, or a step ahead.
But it's interesting, Jolene, because considering what we're doing here now, I actually trusted it more because it was this person, this filmmaker, that was very curious about this person bucking the system. And they played with each other a little bit. And I have to say that as a liberal, I was like, dude, lay off of him. I felt strangely protective of Adam Kinzinger, because it was very clear that the liberal here got a little rubbed the wrong way when he would say, well, you're still a Republican. And you could hear in his tone that he sort of meant it. I don't know what he feels, but he would make these little snide comments, and I'm like, ugh, you're not helping this. But I also thought, well, this is interesting. And I also appreciated that there were times that Kinzinger pushed back with him. It was like, listen, I know you liberals think that we're all just Democrats waiting to happen, you know?
Yeah.
It's an interesting story as a filmmaker, as an artist, that there's conflict in it. And so that seems like a really interesting thing to make a film about, and then not knowing about what it was going to turn into is pretty astounding what it turned into. Was anything in the movie surprising to you? I was honestly surprised the whole way.
Why were you surprised? If you had watched the hearings, what surprised you? Yeah.
Number one, like I said before, was I had no idea that Fox didn't air it, and that Fox was so actively trying to push the story away, dismiss the story, like change the narrative. And this is something that really bothered me. This didn't surprise me, and I wonder what you felt about it. So during the first hearing of January 6th, the police officers give their testimony, and they see a lot of video, and it's very upsetting. And Adam Kinzinger is very emotional trying to speak to them. And then you see clips on Newsmax and Tucker Carlson on Fox, and they are, and I'm going to say it, Linda, they're so fucking mean, and it made me really upset. I just was like, this is the problem. We don't treat each other with respect at all. And this is not news. This is just mean. It's mean, and it creates a mean culture, and we can just like be bad to each other and be rude to each other, and this creates great ratings. And I just, it made me sick to my stomach. I thought it was more, that part wasn't surprising. It was more like getting hit with a sledgehammer, like doing this podcast going, this is why we're here. All of these years of media culture and meanness is why we're here.
Yes, I would agree. But I will say that as a Republican,
we don't cry.
There's no crying in politics. No, I think that we've all condemned what happened, and as you listen to Cassidy Hutchinson talk about, you know, her experience and what she could hear Trump saying and all that, like, we've all condemned what happened. I don't think there's anyone who at this point says, you know, oh, January 6th was nothing. I mean, it was truly a riot that then went wrong, and there were bad actors who were really wanting to harm people. I think we've all agreed with that, and it should have stopped, and it was a stupid event, it was a stupid day, and Trump should have done something before it got out of hand. Full stop, end of story, period. However, I think what the Republicans would like, and again, this seems like there are so many Republicans who go, why are we even still talking about this? Like, we all said it was stupid and bad. I mean, can we move on now? And I think there are a lot of Republicans that felt like the January 6th committee hearings were very biased. You had Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, who were the Republicans in the group that Nancy Pelosi, you know, put on this committee. I'm sure they were. Adam said he was not happy to be on the committee. I feel like he was. I mean, I don't know how that process works, so I'm not going to, you know, say that he had a choice or whatever. I don't know about that. But what I'm saying is, I feel like that the Democrats are continuing to publicize this event as such a horrible mark on our country and a reflection of Trump and all of the you know, things that we have heard. I feel like Republicans are going, wait a second, you know, there were some things that could have been done differently on both sides. Nancy Pelosi was at fault for, they said this is going to be a big gathering. She was the one who was in charge of security as a Speaker of the House. You're in charge of security at the Capitol. Why didn't she call in the National Guard? I mean, I think that's something that you and I talked about.
You said this before, but here's the thing, Jolene. I mean, it's almost like we have brushed aside that President Trump created a lie and convinced thousands of people to come to the Capitol to say that the election was stolen. And everyone knows the election wasn't stolen. And every single senator and congressperson knows that the election wasn't stolen. And yet, and it's also in the film, and everybody knows it's bullshit. And then Kevin McCarthy, which I found totally wild, is that he's the one that leads the charge to continue the lie and then goes down to Mar-a-Lago, and Trump is back, like, doing his finagling, and all of a sudden you go from McCarthy and McConnell saying Trump was the reason that they charged the Capitol to, oh, there's nothing to see here, within a matter of 10 days. I mean, the bottom line, Jolene, is millions of people voted for Trump again. They don't care. Like, so I could debate this with you, but they don't care. I care because I don't think it's okay that we destruct or destroy federal property. I don't
and we
think
agree
it's
on
okay,
that.
right? And we agree on that. I don't
Yes.
think it's okay that all of these politicians' lives were threatened. I think, like in the film, when you hear the playback of the death threats that he was getting and the 24-hour security, I'm like, hold on a second. What's going on here? Like, we can debate Nancy Pelosi and Trump and all the things, but the bottom line is more Americans said, I don't care, I want Trump again. And Trump went in like day 1 or 2 and pardoned all the people that destroyed the property of the Capitol and that hurt people. And there's nothing we can do about it. Like, that's really it.
Can I tell you, and I think I've shared this with you before.
Yeah.
But can I tell you my experience with the 2020 election?
Sure.
We're living in New Orleans, and I have to go to the post office. This was, I don't know what the date is, so let's just call it December, maybe January. And
Of 2020 or 2021?
of 21. Of 21.
21. January
And
of
as
21.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I pull up to the post office, and there's a gentleman sitting outside of the doors of the post office. I'm getting my packages together. I'm getting out. And as I start to go in, here comes an elderly lady. I mean, not elderly, but probably 60s. And looks
That's
to be
not elderly.
I know. Sorry. But she was very slow walking. So she looks disabled in some manner, or injured or something. So she makes her way up this ramp, and I'm coming in after them then with my packages. And I'm standing in line behind them then. There's 4 or 5 people in front of us, and they're not talking to each other. When they get up to the counter, they walk up together, but the guy takes a step back, and the lady says, I need to change my address. And the postal worker is female, and she said, okay, where are you changing your address from? And she said, Atlanta. And the postal worker said, or have you moved from there? And she goes, well, I used to live here, but I moved there, and now I'm moving back. And the postal worker kind of rolls her eyes a little bit, gets a change of address card, gives it to her, and says, okay, you're going to have to fill this out. And the lady fills it out. She hands it back to her. And the postal worker says, is this a permanent change? And she said, yes. And she goes, okay, thank you. And the two of them walk out together. I walk up and I think, God, what a weird interaction that was. And so I asked the postal lady, I go, do you get a lot of those? And she goes, from New Orleans to Georgia, every day. I'll get 10 more today. I'll get 10 more tomorrow. I had 10 the day before. And I went, wow, that's odd. That was the only experience that I've had that in my mind, I'm going, was there some sort of concerted effort to get people who lived in Louisiana to change their address to Georgia and then to come back after the election and change it back to New Orleans? And the thought occurred to me as I saw this, almost disgust by the postal worker. Wait a second. Is this some sort of concerted effort? So I'm not saying it's election fraud, but I'm saying something was very off with that whole exchange. And as the lady, so then I take care of my packages. And as I went back out, the guy is standing on the top of the steps waiting. I get back in my car. I don't see the lady anymore. And I'm like, is he just sitting? I mean, tell me that's not suspicious.
I am speechless. I don't know how to respond to this.
So when people talked about, that there was election rigging and, all of the stories that people had, I mean, I don't know what to think. So when they say it was a stolen election, were there stories like that people knew but they couldn't prove, or that they were aware of? Or, I mean, I feel like, yeah, there sure could have been. Now, again, I'm not saying that what happened on January 6th there was any justification for it. But to try to convince people who have had experiences like I did that there wasn't some type of funny business going on, nah, I think there probably was. So, wow. To your point of, this was not a rigged election and everybody just needs to be okay with it, maybe. I mean,
that's what Kinzinger said, and as to why he said it wasn't stolen, let's move on and win the next election, which is what we've done, at least in our lifetime. It's how politicians acted. Right.
So we would assume, you should assume that everything is on board and on the up and up, and there's there's not cheating going on. But who's to say there wasn't cheating going on in the last election where Trump won? Did he say, you know what? We will not let the Democrats beat us in this game. We can play this game. So who's to say that he didn't cheat, or he had some factions?
Who knows?
That
I mean, maybe this kind of stuff has been going on since the beginning of time. I don't know. I really liked the movie. I liked how human he was and how honest he was. I liked when they showed his childhood. He was such a dork. Oh my God. Just that he would play political office in his bedroom.
Right.
And he was a civil war reenactor. I'm like, you are such a dork.
Such a nerd.
It was his thing. He was your people. He loved Bush and all the things, and he'd wipe the signs off when it rained, and and I'm also quite aware. I know about film, and I know that you're telling a story, and I know that you're feeding a narrative. But the film also made me very sad that this person who, at least as a kid, started off as this hopeful, like you said, the boy in high school, once September 11th happened, he wanted to fly, and he was a fighter pilot guy. And I know that my beliefs, if he and I sat down and said, hey, do you believe this? And I know we'd probably be opposite on almost everything. But I really appreciated, number one, I appreciated his courage. Mm-hmm. And again, he wasn't sure that he would call it courage, but I like that in a person, and I recognize it. I feel very similarly in different situations. I find myself I will say something. It might not be popular or welcomed, but I can't help it. If I feel like something is wrong, I here we are in this podcast, and it's I felt like we needed to do this podcast because I was I can't take it anymore. I admired that quality in him, that he felt like that he didn't have a choice, that he had to do what he thought was right. I totally get your possibly aversion or whatever to he being, you didn't use these words, but like about him, like braggy or self-promoting. And it seems that, I think all politicians they have to be.
Yeah.
And as it said in the movie, like, which didn't occur to me, but it's sort of a duh, where the more that politician is in the limelight, the more they can get stuff done. And
so,
yeah.
Did you find it interesting that at one point that he said, I feel like we could start a new party, like we are the new Republican Party? And it occurred to me...
yes, that moment was really interesting.
At
it was
that
right,
point,
yes.
that he thought that he could be, the rainmaker. Like he was going to be the one to change the... from, Trump is a bad guy and I will be the new Republican Party and I'm going to because he kind of had a plan. He said, we got to get these super PACs that will give their money to us. And he
was talking about the 10 people, the 10 Republicans that voted to impeach Trump.
Yep.
But what was interesting, Jolene, I didn't necessarily take it in as like it was more like, why didn't we? But everyone went silent. And I also thought, well, why didn't you do something?
Right.
Did you or were you, I don't know. Everything is like, well, if I look back, I would have done this, this, and that. But I thought that was really an interesting point too, Jolene.
So it made me think that, and again, we don't get to see everything in its entirety of this documentary, but it made me think that he wanted to kind of coalesce this group of people that were anti-Trumpers and say, okay, we can get this done, because he had a plan of which corporations that he was going to go to get the super PAC money and to get this off the ground.
There are 10 Republicans that voted to impeach Trump, and they talked about right after the January 6th that all the corporations for a year said, we are not giving money to people that wouldn't certify the election. And it worked for a year. And then they said, forget it.
Yep.
They do whatever they do. Because you always say, it's all about money and power. If I haven't learned anything on this podcast, as my friend Jolene tells me, it's all money and power. But that these 10, it's fascinating, human behavior, that these 10 people, these 10 Republicans said, I believe this man should be impeached. And that, like you were saying, that Adam was saying, we could have created a new Republican Party about, as he put it, like a pro-democracy Republican Party. Mm-hmm. And that everyone went silent. And I'm thinking, and I didn't have a chance to look it up, I'm curious, Jolene, and maybe we could take a moment, but who's still in office?
Of those 10?
Of those 10.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Right?
According to recent reporting, only 2 of the 10 remain in the House today. Dan Newhouse, a Republican from Washington, and David Valadao, Republican from California.
Valadao.
The other 8...
so Liz Cheney was out.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Gonzalez out. Jamie Herrera Butler, John Katko, Adam Kinzinger, Peter Meyer, Tom Rice, and Fred Upton out. So you're saying Dan Newhouse and David Valadao are the only ones still in power?
Yep.
That's intense, Jolene, because it just made me think, and I don't know how if it hit you the same way, but when he was sort of fantasizing of what could have been or what might have been, and he was saying, and everyone went silent, like you said about your post office experience, like for me, I felt like, who was behind that? Were they bullied into silence? Mm-hmm. Because feels like, right? Like it's the same, like There's so much behind the scenes that you and I have no concept of, and let alone any of us in the American public. But there was a chilling feeling of like, well, where'd they go? Mm-hmm. And I have to say that when Adam Kinzinger, when he was in office and I was watching the news or whatever, when he didn't run again, I was like, as Nicole, just not knowing anything, I was like, I thought, what a coward, not knowing that he had been gerrymandered. Like, that was new information from the film, that they had gerrymandered his district and that there was going to be some MAGA guy in there, and he's like, I can't win. But I also think, and maybe it's just too much money or energy or something, and he probably felt quite defeated at that point. But I thought, why not run? Why not try?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a good question.
Know.
And is he going to reemerge at some point?
Yeah.
I don't know enough of his background to know what he's doing now, and what's
I do
the
follow
next
him
step?
on the Instagram. Actually, he's I guess trying not to, as he said, his second chapter was trying to fight the cynicism. He seems to be, having a lot of opinions, trying to, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
He and Marjorie Taylor Greene are going to start a new Republican Party.
I can't imagine. They are going to have a baby.
Oh, God.
No, I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene claims that she is not going to run again. And
maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Okay, so I would say it was a good film. I think the thing as for me as a Republican, though, I think once Trump got reelected, one of the first things that they did was, the Republicans said, let's have a January 6th committee now, but let's stack it with Republicans instead of all Democrats except for two. I mean, what findings were they? I don't think they've ever done anything with it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they've ever done anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I think so many Republicans are like, let it go. Like, why do we want to continue to talk about this?
But this is the thing that is confusing to me, Jolene. Republicans, traditional Republicans, believe in the system. We can't learn. This is my feeling. We can't learn from our mistakes and without going and examining it and figuring out how to have this not happen again. And so this is what I struggle with, whether it's this discussion, it's mostly the January 6th thing, I guess, is like, you know what? I don't get this. Like, we're all Americans. Full stop. And you might disagree with things that I don't agree with or whatever, but we are all part of this American experiment. And when I don't trust, when people are like, let's not talk about it anymore. You don't want to talk about it because it's uncomfortable. Not you, but it's like, we've got to figure out how this happened, how we move forward.
But haven't we done that?
Happen again? I don't think so, because a lot of people are like, it doesn't matter. And I mean, again, we have a president that has now pardoned everyone. So that's even like, I don't even know what.
Okay, but haven't we said it was a horrible thing? Trump should have done something. He didn't do it in time.
So,
I mean,
Joe.
he finally did, but it was 3 hours later.
I think you do. But I don't know if all people feel that way.
I would say a majority of Republicans think that it was a horrific event that
I think
should have been stopped.
Yeah. I'm only going to speak for myself. I just really want people to be held accountable, and unfortunately, when he pardons people, I mean, the guy's pardoning everybody, not just, you're like, wow, I guess people can get away with stuff. And that really, I find that really disheartening, because I feel like laws are put into place to keep us in check, to keep this experiment working.
But if people were prosecuted unfairly.
I'm not saying that, Jolene. Like, I know that I don't believe that everyone that went into that building, I would say, like, if you were in the back and we talked about this a little bit before.
Yeah.
But if you hurt people, I don't think you should be pardoned. I can also understand that, especially learning about the Fox non-coverage and whatever, that they also have created a narrative of like, oh my God, enough already. And then we're getting, the liberals are getting the narrative of no one's being held accounted for. And so that is like a bumping up against just in itself.
But I think
you know what I mean?
The reason, yes. However, I think most Republicans think that the whole January 6th hearings were biased from the very beginning. It was only Democrats and 2 Republicans that didn't like Trump. And so how were they going to cover a hearing that was completely one-sided? I mean, they weren't really looking for anything other than what they wanted to see. I think that was predominantly the Republican feeling. If you're going to have an unbiased, a bipartisan
but the
committee that was able to look at this event through, with both of them together looking at the same information, then that's one thing. But that's not what this was.
You think that was even possible? It seemed like it was so deeply polarized at that point, because that's the thing, Jolene.
It's
like,
probably
I
true.
feel right that I would have loved it. I think you would have loved it. Like,
yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Let's get in the room. But it felt like, because Trump is not a typical Republican either. Like, he's created a situation where you're in line with him or you're not.
Yep.
And if you're not, you get kicked out of the party. And so I'm curious how the next 3 years are going to go. Because he's seeming to do and say some things that maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm crazy, but I'm kind of hoping that some of those Republicans are like, yeah, no. I mean, listen, Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke up, and I'm not quite sure how that went, and I'm just curious about her too.
I think that it's going to be a rocky road for the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. But I also think, man, you've heard me say this before, he's getting stuff done.
Any other thoughts about the last Republican?
We all have to be exposed to this stuff to be able to either to defend our side or to be able to learn something about the other side. So there's nothing wrong with watching this movie, whichever perspective you come from.
I mean, listen, I felt for the guy, and he's not in my party. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
That's because you're kind. He's in my party. I didn't feel for him as much as you did.
There you go. You had a lot more experience with him, though, a lot more exposure than I did. I looked at him much more as just this human being, which makes it very different.
Because you are nicer than me, too.
Well,
that is why.
Listen. No. Okay. I think maybe we should go to a good for the soul.
Oh, I've got a good one, too.
Ooh, good. Do it, girl.
It's called VHS Dates. Have you seen it? A collection of tapes found from an old dating service.
Shut up.
They are so funny.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So it just makes you laugh.
Yep. I mean, just flipping through here, you get to see.
Oh, that's some good stuff.
Oh, it's real good. So Somebody got a hold of these and said, we should post these. They have 771,000 followers. It's good. You will not be disappointed.
Oh my God, I can't wait. The hair on these people.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that they gave permission. Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Better,
like,
better to look at it real
that was
fast.
me. That was me.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Maybe we should go flip through there and make sure there's nobody we know.
Well, it looks like from the hair that they're from the 80s.
Yeah.
So they'd be like our parents' age now.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe your mom's on
Just
it.
a little bit.
Sally?
Wait, no, she was married in the 80s.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
was my dad? Not always.
Bob?
Bob, were you on the VHS dates? Oh my gosh. Too
What's
funny.
your good for the soul?
Okay. I have two.
Oh.
One is just really sweet and lovely and will make you feel good. And it's called top.music.songs. Picking the 1,000 greatest songs of all time, not in order.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they did like a cover of Tears for Fears. It was the Tears for Fears guy with his daughter. And it was great. It was really great. The second good for the soul is www.bridgegrades.org. We'll put it in the show notes. It's a report card for Congress, like Rotten Tomatoes for politicians. It's this guy, Brad Porteous, and I actually was checking our Facebook page last night and saw this Fox affiliate interview, and it was about this guy, Brad. He was being interviewed about his website, bridgegrades.org. And it was really interesting to me. I was like, oh, I love this kind of thing. And I know that Jolene will too, because she loves like who's trading what, like figuring out what they're all doing and keeping tabs on them. And so I wrote him on LinkedIn, and boom, he writes me right back. And so he can tell you all about this organization he has, keeping tabs on whether your congressperson or your senator is an A, a B, a C, or an F. And it has to do with courage and collaboration. Are people dividers or are they bridgers? Which is really interesting. And there's a whole algorithm that they figure all this data. He's a big old tech guy. I understand none of it. But it'll be really great to have him on to introduce his project to them. And
You can take it from there.
yes.
Give me your would you rather.
Okay. Would you rather go back to kindergarten, everything you know now, or know now everything your future self will ever learn?
Oh. Oh, that's a hard one.
Did that make sense to you?
Yeah,
okay.
but I wouldn't be mature enough as a kindergartner to know everything. I would be a completely nerd. And so then, like, what do you do with all that knowledge as a 5-year-old? Or know everything there is to know right now? And so I don't ever learn anything new?
No. But what could you do? You could do a lot with that knowledge. What if you knew things? It's a hard one.
Yeah, that
It's
is a hard one. It was a hard one to, like, figure that out in my head. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to know everything there is to know right now. But I hope that I can get to learn more.
Maybe if you knew everything that your future self would know, it could help you inform your choices, or maybe you could heal the world in a way because you know things.
Right. And you'd never make a mistake?
Well, I didn't say that, but you could throw that in the mix.
Well, I don't think you would if you knew everything. Oh, I don't know. God, that's a lot. That's heavy. That's really hard.
You'd know now everything your future life, your future self would learn. I know I didn't think of it that way, Jolene, that, oh, you wouldn't be learning anything else, because learning is so much fun.
And you'd be so cocky. Like, you'd be like, yeah, I know. And somebody would tell you something, you go, I know.
Like, no, I know.
No,
Because
I
my
know.
90-year-old self knew that, and so I know it now.
Yeah.
I'm 40 years ahead of time.
Yeah. Oh,
Do you notice
God,
that I
you'd be
just knocked off 6 years of your life?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
No, you'd be so arrogant. Ew, nobody would want to be around me.
But then if you're 5, then you know that's going to be hard too.
Oh, I would never have a friend.
I'll be your friend.
Oh, I know you
Come on.
would.
I know.
Okay. Okay, here's yours. Mine is very
Okay.
simple.
Okay.
Would you rather have a gift or a gift certificate?
Oh, yeah.
The control freak that you are.
I know. But I'm going to shout out my friend Rachel.
Okay.
Because she recently, for my birthday, gave me a gift certificate to this woman, Tara, Glow with Tara in Salt Lake City. I'm shouting it out. Such an amazing facial. It was the most amazing gift. And it was a gift certificate. And I'd never met this person. Talk about not control issues. Mm-hmm. I'm going to trust. And I have to say, it was an amazing gift. In that respect, shout out Rachel, shout out Tara, loved it. Loved the gift. In that respect, it was very thoughtful. Because I knew that she loved this woman and she wanted to share her with me. And now I love this woman. So there you go.
I don't know that that's a gift certificate, though, for somebody.
gift
That was a
certificate.
gift.
It was
That
a gift
kind of a-
certificate.
Yeah,
It's
but I
a
don't know.
gift certificate.
I'm sure it was.
I'm clicking. It was a gift certificate. I can show it to you.
But it was still a gift.
But I understand what you're saying. A gift certificate. So what does that mean? Explain your would you rather to me, please.
Like
Would I rather have like
an Amazon, like somebody gives you a gift that they give you, and you're like,
and it's thoughtful. I might not like it, but it's
it
thoughtful.
might be thoughtful, or it might be a
Or
regift.
like the card that the Amazon gift card that you have at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the gift.
What if it's a crappy gift?
I don't care. I don't. But we've talked about this. We talked about this on our Christmas special. I don't care about gifts. I really don't. I like people. I like being with you. That's the gift for me.
Oh, that is the
I know
greatest
that's corny,
gift.
but it's true.
Oh, no, that is so
It's
sweet.
the best. I have stuff. I don't need more stuff. I like my friends. I like more time.
Oh, that's good. Maybe that should be my next would you rather.
Do you want time or a gift certificate?
Or a facial.
Time. Always time.
Oh, wow.
Always time. Facial's
That's
close second. I love a good facial. Anyway.
Thank
here
you,
was
friend.
Thank you, friend. And thank you for listening. If you've listened this far, thank you. We really appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, and follow wherever you get your podcast. And if you're interested in being a sponsor, or if you know a business that is interested, please share our information with them, because we would love to speak with them.
And we love your comments. Let us know
Yes.
what you think of this episode. If you've watched The Last Republican with Adam Kinzinger,
Yes.
what your thoughts were. We would love to hear them.
We would love to hear it. And listen, it is now 2026, everybody. So give us your shout outs for things you want us to talk about. You can go to our website. You can comment on the YouTube page. You can comment on Facebook. You can comment on my personal LinkedIn. You can comment on our Instagram. All the things. Shout out some topics. We are so open and ready to listen to you guys. We had some great topics last year that were reader and listener and viewer inspired, and we're super grateful for you.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Amen.
Thank you.
All right. Peace out, baby.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We've Got to Talk is produced across the world by the wildly talented, creative, and hilarious team at Bambi Media. Our theme song is Jump Jive Swing by Space Train Unlimited. Thank you so much for listening, and join us every week for another episode of We've Got to Talk.